Leaked information today shows both the camera unit and the chipset to be used in the Xiaomi Mi 10. That's important because the Mi 10 this year is the cheaper version of the Mi 10 lineup. So as we know, the Mi 10 phones is really ushering in a new era for Xiaomi, where they're trying to push the brand into a more premium type of category. What does premium actually mean? Of course, everyone's take on this is going to be extremely different from the design and the components used. But all around, it really means you're just offering a very solid and high-class package overall with some unique features. For example, Huawei have used unique image sensors in their flagship phones for a long time, as well as their own chipsets. And now Xiaomi have this sort of thing too with the brand new 108 megapixel sensor, the HMX1, that was designed for Xiaomi and manufactured by Samsung. This will obviously be used in the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro, along with the very best chipset as usual, the Snapdragon 865. But what about the cheaper version of the two phones? Last year we had the Xiaomi Mi 9 and the Mi 9 SE. The Mi 9 was the flagship product for Xiaomi. It had the Snapdragon 855, the very best and at that time very new flagship processor from Qualcomm. But the Mi 9 SE, the little brother, was, even though called a Mi 9 phone, just a mid-range phone using a Snapdragon 712. Even though I really like the Mi 9 SE, it was a great phone overall, but it's not a premium phone. It's a mid-range phone, and Xiaomi want to try and push more phones into the premium category. So why is this a new era for Xiaomi? Well, the leak today gave us some information about the cheaper version, the Mi 10, saying that yes, indeed, it would come with the very best new processor, the Snapdragon 865, and also use Xiaomi's unique image sensor, the HMX1 with 108 megapixels. So from a year ago, where the Mi 9 was the only flagship with the 865 in the Mi lineup, we now have two phones using the premium flagship Snapdragon 865 and also using some premium features. So rather than having a flagship and the cheaper version being a mid-range, we now have essentially two flagships, a flagship and an even more premium flagship, the Mi 10 Pro, which we expect to come with some even more premium and expensive types of specs. Also contained in the leak is the information that both the Mi 10 and the Mi 10 Pro are no longer going to compete to be some of the very cheapest flagship Snapdragon phones. It says gone are the days where Xiaomi is attempting to give the absolute lowest price along with that new flagship chipset from Snapdragon. And if you want that type of phone, it's going to be left up to Redmi to try and fight for the crown in that category. I think it's a good move from Xiaomi overall. We've seen OnePlus successfully move into more premium types of phones, whilst also giving some other options cheaper down the line, but all using the Snapdragon 865 chipset, the exception being the OnePlus 8 Lite, which may be using the Snapdragon 765G. For right now, we don't know about that one. We shouldn't expect Xiaomi to divert too far from its path. Of course, we expect Xiaomi to follow on with what they've done over the last few years, offering essentially a phone with every single chipset in every single category. But it's a strong move from Xiaomi to offer two flagship phones, at least in the Mi 10 series, rather than one flagship and one mid-range. Having two phones in the Mi 10 series, at least that we know of right now, using the Snapdragon 865, I think is a great thing. There are just so many advantages that come with using a flagship chipset in the phone that you just can't get with the mid-range chipsets. In terms of gameplay, image processing, longevity too, but using two different phones with that chipset gives users a choice on whether they want to go for the more premium version or if they think they don't need those specs and will just buy the cheaper version but still having the flagship Qualcomm chipset. Subscribe for all the latest tech news and tech videos. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.